Fuck, man. I've like barely slept at all. I don't know what's wrong with me. Like really, really barely slept.
Do you drink a lot or something? Or
No, I didn't drink at all.
no?
When I drink, I can go to sleep. I don't know. I was actually like falling asleep perfectly well while watching Vincenzo on the couch. And then I like forced myself to get up. And then I got like all awake and couldn't get back to sleep. Because I was like, I should sleep in my bed and not on the couch. And then I just like tossed and turned until like basically until now. So yeah, I'm on like very few hours. I'm on like half an episode of Vincenzo's amount of sleep, basically. That seems crazy to me. I should feel more tired.
It'll just hit you later today.
Yeah,
maybe.
I'm just going to try to sleep after this, I guess.
That's what usually happens to me. We don't have to do anything too long on this one. Have our shortest episode ever. That's what we're going to promise the viewers today. The viewers watching us. With the new audio 3D modeling they do of us. They take our voices and run it through their podcasting apps, and then it makes hologram images of us talking in our various rooms.
You've got the most intense fans in the world.
It's very nice of them to design such cool software that only works for our podcast. It's an exclusive benefit that only our real fans get.
Maybe because I'm sleep deprived, I felt like that technology probably exists. Or I've just seen it like in a James Cameron movie or something. It seems like something like out of, I don't know. I'm just picturing like Terminator 2 or Abyss level like special effects showing that technology being made or used. I think I don't know. It's likely that something like that has been in a sci-fi movie or something.
Sure. Holograms definitely have, but I don't know about holograms reconstructed from like audio samples.
Well, yeah.
Well, why not? Technology's magic, and magic can do everything.
I mean, it doesn't even seem that crazy, really. If you can, like, I don't know, like it's like it'd be like using like echolocation, right?
Maybe.
I think so. Basically, I don't know what I'm talking about. All I'm saying is dolphins have already invented this shit. Dolphins and bats.
No, I don't disagree.
He walked out in the gray light and stood, and he saw for a brief moment the absolute truth of the world. The cold, relentless circling of the intestate earth. Darkness implacable. The blind dogs of the sun in their running. The crushing black vacuum of the universe. And somewhere 200 animals trembling like ground foxes in their cover. Borrowed time and borrowed world and borrowed eyes with which to sorrow it.
And lo, for the earth was empty of form, and void, and darkness was all over the face of the deep, and we said, look at that fucker dance.
Welcome to Heat Death of the Universe, the greatest conspiracy theory of them all. Science. Theoretical physics. Hokum. It's someday, it's sometime, and we're gonna talk about a movie. Jason, you found this movie. Tell us what this movie is.
I heard about this movie.
What's its deal?
It's called the Pizzagate Massacre, which is a low budget. I was going to say horror movie. You would think from the trailer horror movie, but I'd say a low budget black comedy action movie. That's
horror elements here and there.
I guess horror elements.
Sort of.
I stand by it being more of like action than horror, but whatever. It doesn't matter. It's not a very good movie. But it is about the Pizzagate Massacre, which was, I think, like never called that, but now I'm going to have a hard time calling Pizzagate without saying. I'm probably every time I'll hear Pizzagate from now on, oh, Pizzagate Massacre. Now they're connected in my brain forever. I guess I'd call the movie a what if movie. It's kind of like, what if that like right wing story that was like I don't know. I guess the story originally came from QAnon. What if it like had exploded into something bigger and caused an even bigger reaction and more people had died because of it. Right? That's kind of what the movie's about.
Yeah. I mean, I read an interview with the director, John Valley. This was his first movie, by the way. There's an interview with him because he's bringing the movie around to like different like little film festivals, and he's in England for something called Grimfest 2021. It's like I imagine it's like a kind of a low budget horror movie festival. But he goes into like, he basically talks about how there was that guy who went to Comet Ping Pong pizza restaurant in
Was Comet Ping Pong
DC.
Pizza not in Washington, D.C.? Oh, it was in Washington, D.C. I was wondering why they chose Austin in this movie. I guess they were just filming in Austin, so it was like easier to film in Austin.
No, there was a thing in Austin too, but
okay.
I'll get to that in just one second, I guess. But like, the main thing was because the original Pizzagate conspiracy theory pinpointed specifically this place called Comet Ping Pong, which is like a pizza place / I've just found out today in some Wikipediaing, also like a live music venue. And because it says that like several bands that have performed there had to like shut down their like social media because they were getting harassed so hard. And one of the band's names was pretty unfortunate for being a band caught up in a conspiracy theory about a child sex ring. Because their band name was Sex Stains. Anyway, that location, a guy, let's see, let's just get it right here. Edgar Madison Welch, 28-year-old man from North Carolina. I mean, that's a fair amount of distance to drive to go to a pizza restaurant. Angrily.
I mean, it's 5-6 hours probably, depending on what part of North Carolina.
And he opened fire from the outside of the restaurant, and it's not clear that he was like trying to murder anybody because he just he fired 3 shots from like an automatic AR-15 style rifle.
What I remember of it, he was like firmly of the firm belief that the conspiracy was true, right?
He
That
totally
like,
believed it was
completely
true.
like eaten into like the QAnon thing and was like, this is real. I'm going up here to like save lives. I can't believe other people aren't saving lives.
Yeah, he thought he was going to go in and rescue the kids from the basement. But I mean, I'm just trying to like present it honestly.
I was
like,
just like trying to remember
I think
if that was the case or not.
I don't think it was an intended like mass shooting, but basically the movie, as you say, the what if is like, what if it had been a mass shooting, and like would people have taken it more seriously? I guess seriously in the sense of like, oh wow, it's like dangerous that people are believing this crazy conspiracy theory. Not seriously in the sense that, oh, I guess Pizzagate must be real. But I mean, the movie makes it pretty unambiguously clear that it's a hoax. But the movie's more interested in seeing like what people who buy into it, how they might behave. But even I mean, the plot is pretty straightforward, right? Like, I was telling you, I'm a little bit hazy on the beginning. I remember more of the latter half.
Plot's a bit straightforward. So, like, the way it begins is Karen Black, a fresh college grad. She's doing an internship for the movie's stand-in of, I guess, Fox News, or maybe even like a even lower profile, like, news agency.
It's Alex Jones, 100%. You didn't feel that? It's like,
was Alex but it was like a TV channel.
It's InfoWars. It's like so low budget. It's not Fox News, man.
Well, yeah.
I mean, or maybe that.
No, I don't disagree with you. I just I've honestly just never watched Alex Jones. So I know who he is, so it just didn't filter.
Well, I mean, Pizzagate was like a thing that Alex Jones, of course, was like really pushing as a real thing, as he pushes, many theories. But I mean, well, let me walk back what I'm saying, because I think I don't think it's I wouldn't say it's supposed to be the standard for Fox News, but it does get like national recognition, right? At some point, at least.
Yeah, that's at the end of the movie.
But that's at the end.
Maybe that's where Fox News is. Because QAnon got some national recognition on Fox News at some point, right? I'm not crazy.
Well, I guess I'm just setting up that this TV station, it's like also, they seem to have like one show, right?
The Terry Lee show.
Yeah.
And I guess Terry Lee is the stand-in for Alex Jones. This like hard right woman who is also just selling conspiracy theory. Selling the whole, like, there's lizard people.
Yeah, she slams her fist on the desk. She yells about the deep state. She's not doing like an Alex Jones impersonation, but the fact that it's set in Austin and that, I just couldn't help but think like, oh, this is the equivalent basically of an Alex Jones.
I guess if I knew, like, somehow I know very little about Alex Jones, so my brain just doesn't like jump there ever. But I totally see what you're saying. I think you're probably right.
In any case, sorry, that's the derailment, but like...
so Karen Black, she's doing an internship at the Terry Lee show. And it's her first day on the job. They have her basically just like listening to Terry Lee rant, and they're like, make notes if she says anything crazy. And at some point during this broadcast, her first day of internship, and she drops her headphones and causes some microphone feedback. And, she gets fired because, like, she ruins a segment of the show. And as she's, like, leaving work, Miss Karen Black, she notices a red van parked in the parking lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, am I going too deep on this? Anyways... And she seems a bit sad that, she's like, losing her internship so quickly. I don't get why. It's probably an unpaid internship. Why would anyone care?
Well,
But,
her dream is to like be in media and like have her own kind of conspiracy show because she's
Yeah, it
into
seemed like she was
conspiracy
really
theories.
invested into what like Terry was saying. That's why she dropped the clipboard, because Terry was talking about like pedophiles in the basement of a pizza shop, and Karen was like, "Oh my god, if this stuff's real," and like she was shocked, like she was feeding into it, but you could tell the other people recording her was like, "Okay, Terry's just making up more bullshit, but we make money off of this, right?"
Yeah.
So Karen leaves. There's protesters outside in a red van. The protesters are blocking Terry Lee's car. I guess they're supposed to be like stand-ins for liberals. And
yeah,
they're like,
basically.
they chose some of the silliest looking people. Anyways,
And there's like 10 of them.
yeah, they're protesting the right-wing propaganda and being like, "You're hurting people. Your fake news is hurting people. You've got to stop this. You're a monster." And they're not letting like the star Terry Lee go home, and then a QAnon guy in a red van, the world's most dangerous man according to this movie, pulls up, jumps out, pulls out a gun, and is like, "Get away, protesters!" And yeah,
Well, he
they
is
scatter, right?
Yeah, and it's like it reminded me of like the like sort of endless number of YouTube videos that you can find of people getting into these like scuffles along political lines because the protester like hits him with like his protest sign, and he's like, "He assaulted me. I have every right to draw my gun on him.
Gun. I could kill you here."
And like yeah, and everyone's telling him to like just stop waving the gun around. Basically, they're like yeah, he hit you. That's not right. But like, you know, that's like
It's really scary
it's like
to be in a
It's
situation
like cardboard, man.
where someone's waving a gun around. A long time ago, I was at a Thanksgiving dinner where one of the people at the dinner started waving a gun around.
Damn.
Drunkenly. Not like threateningly. He just like had a carry permit. He pulled out his gun and started waving around like, "I've got a gun, motherfuckers." And it's like it suddenly just like ruins the mood if it ever happens. It doesn't matter if it's a threatening thing or just a bragging thing. It just like makes everything really weird.
Yeah, I'm not.
That's an aside.
I'm not a fan of. Yeah.
Gun waving.
Gun waving. Gun twirling.
I prefer to be in situations where there's no gun waving personally.
Yeah, same here. I know that makes us sound like some real soy boy cucks or whatever, but fucking whatever.
Okay, what the fuck can you do? So the protesters disperse. The QAnon guy Duncan disperses. Karen's fired from her internship, but Karen's like got this ideal about the Pizzagate pedophiles or whatever, and she's like latched onto it. And then we go to more setup where we see the red van guy playing paintball with his militia friends. He's in a militia.
Oh, see, all right, it's all coming back to me now that you say it. Yeah, that scene was actually kind of cool. I gotta say, the way he tricked all his paintball friends.
Yeah,
like, but it was also really fucked up. Like he took some guy and like duct taped him up, duct taped his mouth.
I think another militia, hopefully another militia member. I took it as another member, like a member of their team or something.
I think so too, but it also, I'm not sure if it was made clear or if he just grabbed
it
some
wasn't
guy
made
off
clear.
the street.
I assumed it was another militia member. If it was just like a person on the street.
Well, because the guy seemed like, at the very least, upset when.
I mean,
I guess
I've never been duct taped to a giant log with my mouth gagged. I'd be upset.
And he had just gotten shot with about like 10,000 paintballs. Yeah, I don't know if we're painting quite the picture for this, but basically this Duncan guy who becomes like the protagonist of the film, as he's doing militia paintball training, he just fakes out all his friends by like duct taping this other guy, duct taping his mouth shut, then duct taping him to a fallen tree,
and then
covering him with like a camouflage like net
Like
or whatever.
sniper outfit or something.
And so all the friends are just like, Duncan, that's you. And they all just shoot the shit out of his back. And then, yeah.
Yeah, because he's not responding. He's like, won't give up.
But then the whole time, Duncan's been there standing amongst them, and he just fucking like murks all his friends with paintballs. This is still paintball time.
I think it's to show that he's...
Oh, yeah, it totally connects to the end of the movie, I just
that
realized.
he is a capable soldier type. Even though he's not a soldier, I think he's just like obsessed with
he's a good
fighting and stuff, right?
He's a good shot, and he's willing to take out all of his friends, which will come back in later in the movie, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm just like connecting that paintball scene now to the end scene. So, I just like a step outside of the plot for a second, like overall, the movie was like entertaining. And I was a little let down because the trailer made it seem like kind of more exciting or something. But it was like, for a low budget movie, I think it was pretty capably done. And it was like the first movie that this director had made. The only thing he'd done before, I think, was music videos. So it's all like basically completely unknown, or maybe like barely even professional actors, but it's not like The Room or like a Neil Breen movie either. Like, I don't think any of the acting is like wooden or anything, like, and I don't know. I'm just saying like, credit where credit's due. They pulled something decent off with the extremely low budget and the unseasoned actors.
Yeah, I don't disagree. There's things I didn't like about it, but it was...
Well, I almost kept waiting for like one of those cheesy moments of just like bad acting, and like it just never really happened as far as I remember. But,
I mean, the worst part of the acting was some scenes were wooden, but like I wouldn't call them like super like bad, and in a way it kind of fit the characters we were following for the certain scenes to be like more wooden than I think they should have been, more like just stiff.
yeah, I mean, I guess that's inevitable. But I guess the main actor, the main characters, Karen and
Yeah, I kind
Duncan,
of started to feel bad for Duncan.
I don't think
They did a good job of that.
In the interview with the director, he says he wanted people to, I think, quote, fall in love with Duncan.
Yeah.
But then, also see what he's capable of. But like, I mean,
I think the movie was kind of successful at that, kind of making you not hate him.
Yeah, because
if anything, I just started to feel sorry for him the more of the movie went on, because he obviously was just someone who wanted like a friend.
yeah, I mean, like earlier you kind of shorthanded him as like the QAnon guy, but like he actually believes less in the Comet ping pong thing than Karen, the more like put together seeming like educated person does. He actually doesn't believe it at all, like, right? Because he's like, he's like, I'm only like helping you with this. I mean, it's because he likes her. He's got like kind of a crush on her, right? That was my
I think so.
takeaway.
He develops one at least, but yeah, he does.
And, so I guess the next part of the movie is like the militia meeting, right?
Yeah, they have a meeting, and we're introduced to Duncan and Philip more concretely. Or we're introduced to Philip, who is one of Duncan's friends, and he's wanting to run the militia. He's like a hot-headed, he thinks that gangs are coming up from the border to kill everyone and rape your children type.
Oh, right. He's basically doing like a fucking like Trump rally impression.
Yeah.
He's like yeah. And the leader of their militia is like an old timer who's like, I don't know, he's just old. So like, yeah, this younger guy who's like way more spiritedly racist wants to take over, wants to be the leader of this militia. And yeah, so like but I guess we should mention, like, so you're hearing these words: militia, racist, QAnon, and Duncan is part of this group, but Karen, I would say the second most central character alongside him. We should mention she's black, and he doesn't seem to have any, like, basically he's not, he just flat out says later in the movie, like, I used to have like some wrong ideas, but that's in the past, because there's, jumping ahead, you get to this point where I'll just say he's injured, and he goes into a random like family's house, and happens to be a black couple, and he basically, like, he's waving a gun at them and just like demanding that they help like bandage him up so he can like be on his way. And he's not really even being an asshole to them, but they're about to like cut off his shirt so they can like fix his like wounds. He's been shot, and he's like, now before you do that, you're gonna see something, and that's from a time in my life that, like, I don't believe in anymore. And like he's exposed this like giant chest tattoo of like a fucking swastika,
Nazi Iron Cross.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess it's just a little like more sort of character development about this guy that it's not exactly clear how we're supposed to feel about him throughout the movie. I feel like, in a way, it seems like he's trying to do the right thing, but he just keeps fucking up, or like getting into really bad luck, basically.
Yeah, he often seems confused about what actually is the right thing to be doing. Like, you can tell he's a bit like, I don't know, lost in the world.
I mean, I guess, yeah, when we get to the more of the climactic moments of the movie, I can say more about that. But so this is then where Karen like basically approaches Duncan.
She approaches the militia, really.
Okay.
Like, at first, she's like, she interrupts they're having a meeting to vote who the new leader of the militia is, and she approaches and was like, you got to stop everything. I'm here to see if I can recruit some men to go with me to Austin, Texas, and investigate this ring of pedophiles.
Oh, right. They're in Waco, and the what's her name? The whatever
Terry Lee
show is in Waco as well. Yeah.
And the young guy, Philip, who's tried to become the new militia president, leader, whatever. He's like, don't interrupt me. There's not time for that. Fuck you. She's like, no, I need help with this. And like, she starts to describe it, and they start to take it more seriously, I guess.
She describes the Pizzagate ideas.
Yeah, the Pizzagate things. And Duncan interjects. I was like, oh, no, we shouldn't be doing this or messing with this. He tries to calm down the situation and diffuse it at the meeting, the main character. And it doesn't get diffused. I think like Philip, the guy who's trying to become the leader, is like, oh, no, maybe we should send some men down there. And Philip like volunteers himself, and that's when Duncan like says no, right? But then
so he kind of steps in as a means to prevent who he knows to be like these crazy hothead militiamen from going and like, starting a lot of trouble, if not just outright killing people.
That's why he shows up at like 6 a.m. to Karen's house in a very creepy way, as in he's just sitting in her bedroom at 6 a.m. waiting for her to wake up.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
And he's like, we're going, right? Because he wanted to beat his friend Philip there. And then he finds out that Karen's in like nice hiking gear, and that makes him like her. He's like, oh shit, she has like good hiking gear. She's a survivalist. I'm a survivalist. And they start their road trip because Karen gets over the fact that a guy had broke into her house and camped in her bedroom floor watching her sleep, waiting for her to wake up.
Yeah.
She's got a movie to make.
I'll say I know that I think Waco to Austin is like hour and a half. It's not too
Okay.
it's not too far, if I remember right. It's like right between Dallas and Austin. But anyway, and then the next like big scene you're gonna have to describe too, because I don't remember it very well. I just I was sleepy when I was watching this movie, guys. I didn't really. I really had to like. I really didn't fully open my eyes until like the sort of last half of the movie, or maybe last 2/3. But
so the next part of the movie is Duncan ends up being like, okay, I'll take you, and they make some agreements, and they argue about filming the documentary because Karen's wanting to make a documentary of all this to, like, you know, get her edge into her foot in the door of media. The whole time I'm watching this, I keep trying to figure out, like, if Karen, at least through the movie, at the end you kind of know where she's coming from, but at first it's like, does she believe this conspiracy crap, or is she just like using these people to make her documentary? Which is like a through line. But anyways, they start their adventure. They talk for a bit. They stop for gas because Duncan was falling asleep at the wheel, and they got into an argument about him not sleeping. He was sleeping, and he was like, well, if you're tired, I'll get you an energy drink. And yeah, so they stop at a gas station, not to get gas, but he's out of gas, and then she's like, you're out of gas. He's like, no, I'm not, because he's obstinate and refuses to, you know, say that he did anything wrong, I guess. And he goes into the shop. She stays outside. She gets out of the van, looks around at it, notices he has a rebel flag license plate, asks him if he's a racist. He's like, I'm not a racist. The rebel flag means something else. And she's like, it's a racist flag. They have an argument about that. There's also a lot of guns in the back of his van.
And unbeknownst to the audience and to Karen, he's got a big fucking eagle with a swastika and its talons on his chest.
Yeah, exactly. And she's like, why don't you use the license plate on the front? And he's like, that one's got a rebel flag too. He kind of apologizes about it. They have like a longer conversation. It's like, oh yeah, you're right. This stuff is wrong. That's something I noticed about his character. He's usually malleable. Like anyone who like just talked to him for a while, he'll start to pick up on their beliefs. That's the type of guy he is. And I think they're also trying to say that these people that get like knee deep in all this conspiracy theory stuff, as like if they just had someone else talking to them, they would change their mind, which honestly I don't think is always true, but I'd like it to be true. I think that's the liberal fantasy part I was talking to you about.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's like all people need is a good old healthy dose of liberal logic, and then they'll see the light. It's like, no, not necessarily. I mean, if anything is like shifting him, and like we don't have a lot to go on because the movie's like, you know, it's a short, low budget movie. It's not going into like the whole life and times of Duncan, but like, I do believe that he's like not racist, but like used to be. I did buy that part, like that interaction that he has.
I just took him as that he was kind of a product of whoever he was around at the time.
Yeah, and but it seems like he is like, you know, evolving for whatever reason. I don't know what it is exactly, but like, I mean, a truly racist person, he wouldn't have like gotten involved with this woman to begin with. Like, let alone like go out of his way, spend his like gas money or whatever to like drive her however far to Austin for this like what he doesn't even believe in, like this wackadoo conspiracy theory. At least that's the impression I got. Did you feel like he ever believed the Pizzagate thing, or was he just going along because he was like into her, or he was trying to prevent the militia from going and causing a ruckus or something, or maybe a little bit of both?
I think he was trying to prevent his friend Philip from going. I think he was also into her.
He was definitely into her.
He didn't want his friend Philip to be hanging out with her
Because
That's why.
at one point he's like, all right, we're going to have to pretend to be boyfriend and girlfriend before they go into the pizza place. And he's like making a big thing about like, well, like what exactly should we do? Like, should we hold hands? Like, and like,
As far as believing in, I think he believed in the deep state stuff, but I don't think he believed that stuff was going on in the pizza thing. Like, I think he was like planning on like investigating it with her or like playing.
yeah, but I don't think,
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think he had
think
any
he was
like,
skeptical,
deep
actually.
convictions or anything. Yeah. So, sorry if I was talking over you, man. I think you were breaking up there on the Zoom.
Oh, no, it's fine. I wasn't. So they leave the gas station, and as they leave, of course, mustache guy Philip Cytec pulls into the gas station, and it turns out he's following them. Because he's decided that they're not going to get the glory for taking down the evil lizard people at the pizza shop. He'll show up and get the glory for himself.
Oh, right. And unlike the real Pizzagate thing, sort of unlike. I mean, I guess like people who went down the rabbit hole far enough eventually maybe did get into lizardoid, humanoid creatures, but this movie's version of Pizzagate is very specifically there are like lizard men in the basement at this pizza place. Oh, the pizza place name is Toots Pizza, by the way, which is
Yeah.
And unlike the real version, it's in Austin, obviously not DC. But what's the thing with the old man? When does that happen?
Next.
Okay.
So they're driving the van. There's a old man with a walker crossing the street. They swerve to not hit him, but Duncan like is looking out in the rearview mirror. He's like, "Oh God, we gotta go help him. He's just a confused old man." And Karen's like, "Nah, let's not help him. It's weird." But he's like, "Old people are like the wisest people on the planet. We have to help them. They're the last like beacon of civilization." Yada yada. So they pull over the van to help the old guy, who is actually just a con artist, right? A highway bandit, who pulls a gun on them and says, "Hey, give me your wallets, give me your van."
And this is a perfect example of the like, this Duncan guy can't catch a fucking break because he's like doing the right thing, right?
Yeah.
And it ends up with him shooting this fake old man in the head.
Yeah, because Duncan's also armed, and
he's the quickest draw in Waco.
Well, I mean, the way he gets him is like he gives the old man the keys to his van, but like they make a point of like showing that Duncan also like has the ignition wire for his van like disconnected. So to start his van, he has to put the keys in and then like also touch the ignition wire while turning the key to get the van to start, which no one who's just trying to steal a van is going to do because they won't know to do that. So the old guy gets out to be like, "What the fuck's wrong with the van?" And then that's when Duncan's like, "Oh, shoot," pulls his gun and is like, "Get the fuck out of here." And they get in a fight, and the old man's like, "You're not going to shoot me." And Duncan's like, "Yes, I will," and shoots him in the head. And Karen's like, "Holy fuck, you just killed that guy." And Duncan's like, "Stop recording me," because she's like recording him. And then it's like, "We got to do something with the body." She's like, "We got to call the cops." He's like, "No, don't call the cops." Funnily enough, that's one of the situations where he probably could have called the cops and said it was self-defense and been fine.
Yeah, maybe.
Whereas he had shot one of the protesters and said it was self-defense, he wouldn't have been fine, I think. Anyways,
This is about the time where I was like no longer like half napping. Because what I remember was like they're comparing shooting the old man to like his head exploding like a pumpkin or something like that. That was like what I came into consciousness to, was that line. But now they're basically to the pizza place, right?
Yeah, that's where they're going next.
I do like the kind of the dialogue between these two characters is really odd because I mean they're both kind of odd people, maybe I guess especially Duncan, but I don't know, they don't have like sort of like typical human reactions to things, I guess is how I would put it. But
yeah, I agree.
But I found it to be like interesting and like kind of funny sometimes. Like Duncan's just like complete social ineptitude is kind of funny. Like, but anyway, they arrive at the pizza place, Toots Pizza, and I don't know if you noticed, like we never actually get to see the inside of this place, and I don't know if that was just a low budget constraint or if it was actually. But no, we do see the inside of it earlier when they call the place. That's another funny scene too, actually. When they call the pizza place to like see if they're hiring, like they feel like they have to make up this elaborate like reason why they're going to the pizza place, and it's like just fucking go to the pizza place like a customer.
Yeah,
but they're like, no, we gotta pretend that I'm looking for I want to be a delivery driver, and like. Anyway, so you do actually see the inside of the place briefly when it cuts.
And it's just a pizza parlor,
right? But like, what was I going to say was the whole let's say massacre sequence. We only just see like this still.
Well, the way it happens is Duncan and Karen get there, and Duncan's going to go in for the job application. Like he's called and said his name was Duncan Rodriguez
and
to Rico, who's the manager of the pizza place.
But he
in,
insists on pronouncing Rodriguez as Rodriguez. Yeah. He's like, that's how it's really pronounced.
They go in to just like eat pizza and apply for a job because they're planning on like setting up camp in Austin and like investigating this place. But that's when Philip pulls in and parks his car, walks in, guns loaded. And
instantly, just bam, bam, bam,
starts firing on people. And it's at that point that it flashes away, and Rico, the manager of the pizza shop, like he runs out with like just like a series of knives lodged into him.
It was a very surreal moment, yes. But just before that, did you notice like all of the like obvious like Illuminati like signage on the outside of the store, of the shop?
Oh no, I didn't.
It was like a big eye, like this, like the big like Illuminati eye, and like, oh, I wish I should have written it down. There was some phrase that was like it wouldn't make sense on a pizza restaurant at all. It was just like almost hilariously in your face, like I don't know, just like if this place was like a hidden like deep state pedophilia ring, like they're not really trying to hide it.
Right. So like,
and I think that was done totally for laughs though. Like
as the chaos is happening, Philip actually runs out with Karen. He's like decided to kidnap Karen and drive back to the militia, and Duncan's left there by himself. And this is where I get a little confused because I felt like Duncan was actually trying to stop Philip inside, but then he gets pinned for like all the Pizzagate stuff. But
well, he does explain it at some point. I forget exactly. I think he explains it when he eventually goes to the TV studio. For the Alex Jones stand-in,
the Terry
Lee, he basically says that what happened was, Philip came in guns blazing, and then the Rico, the like manager,
pulled out a sawed-off shotgun
and
started firing
and
people.
Hit Duncan and so, other people, and then he says like just as like an aside, he's like, well, yeah, and then, of course, like, I grabbed the whole rack of knives and threw them at Rico.
Yeah.
Like that was the explanation for why he was impaled.
Well, he's doing it in
He was-
self-defense.
He was, but when he comes walking out of that shop, he is impaled on like every side of his body with different huge knives. Like it's just so absurd. It was like something out of like Mandy or something. It reminded me of Mandy or something like that. And there's actually there's some fairly gruesome violence in this movie too. Like for low budget, it was like fairly I don't know, like effective and real looking. Like the whole sequence with he basically like mercy kills Rico. They're kind of grappling, and I think eventually Duncan like shoves his own shotgun like towards Rico's own shotgun towards Rico's head, and ends it all right there. But again, it's like he's just saying kind of like, stop it, man, stop it. Like I did not try to kill you. I mean, I did throw all those knives at you, but that was like self-defense.
You shot me, so you deserved the knives.
I mean, he really makes it, because then he also describes how, I mean, I guess this is at the end of the movie where he describes like when he's saying his side of the story of what happened inside there, which, you know, like I said, we don't see any of it happen, but oh, and we should mention, I guess Philip gets away, and or you already said that. You said that, right? Yeah. I was gonna say, Duncan says he's like almost like crying, I think, at this point. He's like, and that none of that crazy shit was going on there. There was just good people making good pizza. Wish I could have had a slice of the pizza. Maybe two slices. He's a little bit portly, Duncan. I don't know.
That part was actually funny to me.
Yeah, I actually almost thought he was gonna just keep saying higher numbers, like maybe 3, maybe 4. Yeah. So I mean, I guess there's just 2 big scenes left, right? So like, he basically is, or 3 rather. So
he hits the road to like get Karen back from Philip.
Well, before that, like he gets bandaged up by this
by
like,
the family
kind of
house he evades.
Older married couple, happen to be black, and that's the whole scene I already described with the tattoo.
They're watching the news. I mean, the only big thing is that this has all hit the news, and people are looking for Duncan because he's the person that's been identified.
Yeah, they see his face on the TV, and he comes busting into their house, like waving a gun around, and but he's actually like not menacing them. He's just like, you know, you're gonna help me get bandaged up, and then there's also like kind of a darkly funny scene where
waving a gun around is menacing, but yes,
well, you know what I mean. Like,
I know.
In his mind, he's not like treating them like shit.
He's not there to kill them.
Right. I mean, but he's like the whole thing of like, he's like embarrassed about his tattoo, and he like doesn't want them to think like badly of him, like that detail. And like, but then when he's leaving, he's all bandaged up. He's just like, he kind of gently just is like, you got to go in this closet, and I swear, I promise you, I'm going to call the cops to come get you out, like as soon as I'm far enough away. And then he like puts it in there, like they're kind of like, no, there's not going to be enough air in here. And like, he says something funny. He's like, I can't remember what it was. There's like a lot of kind of darkly funny lines, but anyway, like he's being like weirdly kind to them, considering what's just gone on. He's like invaded their home, like waved a gun around at them, had them bandage him up and look at his like Nazi tattoo, but all with him being like bashful about it. It's just the whole thing's weird. And
I agree.
I hope those people. I hope he did call the cops, because I don't think they ever show him actually doing it. But
I mean, you're just left to wonder on that.
Yeah.
Though there's part of me is like, together they could knock down the door of the closet, even with the chair against it.
Yeah, I remember thinking that chair thing, like that's
They would keep them there for a minute, but I mean, if they die in that closet, maybe they deserve it.
That's on them.
This is just a door that you just start punching and kicking and shoving against because you want to get out of the. Never mind.
So then he's on the rampage to like save his like lady fair. Like even though Karen has explicitly said, "I don't have feelings for you," when they're having that conversation about pretending to be boyfriend and girlfriend, and he's just like, "Okay, all right," but like you can tell he still likes her or whatever.
But then she held his hand.
Yeah.
She took his hand walking into the pizza place.
Yeah, because they agreed on like that's as far as they would go to sell the fact that they're boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, he's just like he comes in like he's gonna be this hero, and I think also this shows again that he's really broken ranks with these militia guys. I mean, well, we really see he has because he basically ends up killing every single one of them. Even though, like, he's doing it almost in a way where he's like, "Don't make me do this. You're making me do this."
Well, yeah, they won't tell him where Karen is, which is what he comes there for.
I think someone shoots at him first that sets off the whole, basically, second massacre of the movie, basically.
Yeah, someone, I don't remember which one does, but yeah, someone does shoot at him.
I mean, everybody's armed
Philip
in the
that
house.
does.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, this was more the liberal fantasy stuff where I think a lot of liberals really wish that these militia, right-wing QAnon types would all just kill each other with their guns.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the dream is like they all just like go crazy and kill each other in self-defense.
And I mean, there's some dialogue going on leading up to all the shooting, but I don't know if it's like that important. I can't really remember. It's basically
Duncan, we don't want any trouble.
Well, it's just like Philip like still going on about how he's like the new leader in town, and the old man is still sitting there in the kitchen like, "What the hell are you talking about? I'm the leader of this militia." But anyway, he kills every single last one of them, and he's like, you know, he gets Karen, like he like unties her. She's been like bound in the other room, and then they go to the TV studio back in Waco, or they're already back in Waco.
Yeah, they go to Terry Lee's studio,
and the big like kind of final showdown, I guess, right? And it's mostly just a lot of yelling.
Well, Terry Lee is like reporting on Duncan, reporting on like everything that's happened with Pizzagate, saying and basically being like, "This wasn't my fans doing. This is a crazy person's doing. Right. I didn't tell people to do this." And Duncan's like, "Yes, you did. You've convinced people there's lizard people. You influence people. You're a role model. This is your fault." And she's like, "No, it's not my fault. This was like the whole." Whose fault is it? Is it the person that goes out and like commits the crime, or is it the fact that there are people in like highly like public positions like spreading false information, right?
Yeah. And basically all his end game, because I think
he wants to know if lizard people are real.
Well, he knows they're not. I mean, thing
is, when she says they are real, he's like taken aback. He's like, "Oh shit, are they real?" And he starts to apologize. Because I think that he's real confused about just like on what to believe at some like fundamental level. I think he just believes in whatever he's hearing at the moment.
Oh, okay. I didn't really...
I think the movie is trying to say that a lot of these people just don't know what to believe. So they'll believe what is like... I guess told to them the most like loudly or firmly.
Yeah, convincingly or just I guess just
empathetically.
And what lines up with whatever sort of cultural environment you're in or whatever, cuz but yeah, he's like at one point he's just got her on the ground with a gun to her head, and he's screaming like,
Terry, are the lizard people real?
Yeah, just say. I think he's even just saying, say they're not real, or however he's.
Yeah, that's right.
it.
Say they're not real. He's like, say it's a lie.
Because I think that's what makes me think he's not convinced of any of that shit, and he
wants it to be a lie. And then when she does it, she's like, they are real. And he's like taken aback. He's like, holy shit, they are real. And he's already been painted throughout the movie as being like a mega fan of her at least one point. So there was a time when he definitely believed everything she said. And I think when she says they are real, and like she uses her like broadcaster, I'm motherfucking Terry Lee voice, he's like, oh shit, they are real. Fuck. Now people are going to think I'm one of the lizard people. And like he's shocked, and that's when she pulls her gun on him, because like she had been struggling to get to her purse that she had dropped, right? And she kills Duncan. Like Terry Lee kills Duncan, becomes more famous. Karen gets to become famous. Karen had luckily not taken any footage of what actually happened at the pizza shop, but she did have the footage of Duncan like killing the old man, and I think.
Well, she filmed the whole thing in the TV studio, but that was being filmed anyway. He gets really pissed about that at one point too. He feels betrayed by her, I guess. He's like, "Why are you still filming this?" You know. But he's 100% on a suicide mission at that point, and there's beforehand, right when he frees Karen from the militia house. He says, "I'm gonna suck on this gun." I mean, that was the phrasing that really jumped out at me. He like shoves his handgun in his mouth, and then there's another sort of like cheap but funny bit of dark humor where he's trying to say something, but he won't remove the stupid gun from his mouth, and she can't understand what the fuck he's saying. But yeah, like he's just killed like, I don't know, 12 people in the last like
it was all in self-defense
2 hours. Well, a lot of it was, honestly. That's the thing, is like, that's why I said early on, like he is weirdly a sympathetic character in a sort of sense where like he tried to help that old man, and he got a gun pulled on him. I mean, It's not like I think he's a hero. I don't even think I would call him he's an anti-hero, but I wouldn't say he's like a villain or anything either. He's just like he's a confused guy who's got too many. Who's in a land of like everyone's armed all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, it makes America out to be a shitty place to live,
or at least Texas.
Yeah, so he dies. Karen becomes famous because of all her footage. She's like on the national news. Terry Lee becomes famous also, even more famous, I think, like what I gathered.
They say she gets her own show on Terry Lee's like channel,
broadcasting network, yeah.
But here's the weird thing is, and this is what I found misleading, because I thought maybe this movie was gonna have real like lizard people and shit. Because in the trailer there's this shot of this like
lizard man, right?
Yeah, lizard man, and then all it amounts to in the movie is what seems to be like a hallucination, maybe. Or
yeah, no. I think the thing is that Karen's being interviewed by, I guess, a news anchor, right?
Yeah,
about all this stuff, and while she's being interviewed, at the very end, it goes to her perspective. And like she's seeing the news anchor as a lizard man. And for me, I took it as like, it's never really clear if like Karen believes in this shit, or if she is just like using the people around her to make her documentary and become famous. And it's like, she does believe in it or she doesn't. Like, I don't know. But that's how I took it, as like, she does believe in it, and she is seeing all this like media people as like lizard people.
I took her as being at the very least like really genuinely curious about these theories throughout the movie. Like, otherwise, I don't think there's other ways to start a journalistic career, better ways, really.
Yeah, like have a rich parent.
That, but also like going to a pizza parlor out of crazy hunch isn't really something you would do unless you really like thought something was up, I feel like. And
Yeah,
she seems genuine like throughout the discussions and stuff. But like the her seeing this lizard man thing, it's briefly, and when she sees it, she looks like shocked and upset. But then
That's true.
But then it cuts back again and he's no longer a lizard person. So it's just a flash that she sees this, and I don't know what
it's just to show that Karen's a bit unhinged.
Yeah, it could be, because I think in the reality of the movie, I think the director is making it fairly clear that like, of course, none of this shit is real. I mean, I think the literal tagline for the movie is, give me a second. The most
bizarre crime in American history that never happened.
Yeah.
Sorry, I stole your thunder there.
It's fine. So yeah, that's the Pizzagate Massacre.
Pizzagate Massacre.
And I'm gonna, I'll put the link out to this interview with the director. It's worth reading, like how he came up with the idea. Like he was like considering like even interviewing the guy who did actually shoot up the Comet Ping Pong place, but then realized that he didn't really need to, because the character he was going to create was going to be totally different anyway. But we were saying earlier, I can't remember if it was before we hit record or not, but like in stepping outside of the movie into his real life, there were other like sort of targeting harassments of pizza places, including other pizza places in DC, such as Besta Pizza, and which was near Comet Ping Pong. Little Red Fox Cafe, some French bistro, a bookstore. There were a lot of death threats and menacing phone calls, on lots of online harassment. Something else in Brooklyn, and then there was something in Austin at a place called East Side Pies.
Okay.
One of its delivery trucks was vandalized. With like a specific like Pizzagate kind of like vandalism, and they also got like some online harassment for their supposed involvement with the CIA and Illuminati.
Of course.
Now the FBI integrated these Pizzagate related threats into their probe of the possible Russian interference in the 2016 election, which is like maybe just the last thing I'd like to bring up, and we can make this one of our shortest episodes ever, I guess. But
That's fine.
I mean, I got to thinking about, I guess, just conspiracy theories more broadly, but like I can't help but when I see like condescending liberals talk about Pizzagate, and like, look, I'm laughing at Pizzagate. It's hilarious. It's a hilarious, ridiculous conspiracy theory. It's evidence free. Like, it's, yeah. I mean, there are real like sex trafficking rings, of course, in the world, but they just don't happen to be in the basement of this pizza joint. And they have nothing to do with the Podesta emails having like secret codes about like cheese meaning like blonde boy or whatever the fuck. And I guess our listeners probably already are familiar enough with Pizzagate. I don't need to go into like the origins of it, but I guess I want to just say that Russiagate really is is every bit as ridiculous as QAnon and Pizzagate to me. It just now, hear me out. I think the difference is just that it gets this like veneer of respectability and seriousness because of just basically mainstream media coverage has a vested interest in keeping that conspiracy alive and well. And it's for a lot of reasons. And like, you know, I'm not going to get into like every complicated like in and out of Russiagate, but like there's so many like absurdities of the whole Russiagate thing, and like just too many to list. So like for anyone interested, I'm going to put like some links. I mean, the best person to, if you're not convinced that, or if you're only halfway convinced that Russiagate is bullshit, I strongly recommend reading or just seeking out like YouTube videos and podcasts with a guy named Aaron Mate, or Mate, yeah. And I was just listening to him like yesterday on. He was on TrueAnon actually, which was cool to hear. But he works for the Gray Zone, and he used to work for like Democracy Now! And anyway, he's like a very legitimate journalist, and he like kind of stuck his neck out for like 5 years, like being one of the only people, like besides like Matt Taibbi and maybe like Glenn Greenwald, debunking this shit. And when you get into the facts of the case, like it's so absurd that it was like a religion for like a number of years, like during Trump's reign. Like it was what like the MSNBC Rachel Maddow and Colbert and SNL set all like clung to as like, this is going to be the thing. And like,
people needed a way to explain something they didn't understand. That's how conspiracy theories start.
I know, but they're stubborn. Like, so I'm saying that they have no right to like raise themselves as like intellectual superiors to people who buy into QAnon shit, because it's really quite on the same level when you get down into it. Like the difference is that they just didn't want to see. They didn't want to look. They weren't looking at real facts. They were listening to Rachel Maddow, who was like propagandizing and fear mongering every day. But like, I don't know. I mean, I could go on and on about Russiagate, but it just like, I mean, some facets of Russiagate included that Trump was a Manchurian candidate ever since like the late 70s or early 80s. That the Russian government got to him way back then, and like it's just wait 40 years until you become president, and then you'll unleash fucking Mother Russia upon the world. Like it's just. That's just as crazy to me as believing that John Podesta is like got kids in cages under a pizza restaurant. If it actually no, it's less believable.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway,
the only believable part for me was I actually think every major country like tries to use propaganda to some point to influence things happening in other countries, because that's just like things that countries do. We do it. China does it. Russia does it. Everyone does. But as far as like Russiagate being a fully engineered thing to get Donald Trump elected, no, that was never a thing.
Yeah, there are degrees, and like the I'll just say like one last piece on my like. I mean, I'd honestly like to do eventually like a more in-depth thing on this, but like some of the bot farms or whatever, which were real. Like there were these rather small bot farms a single one in Russia that had zero connection to the Russian government. They had the whopping funds of $100,000 spent over the course of 3 years, and I think it was like less than half of that was spent before the election, and the vast majority of the memes they were cranking out and clickbait articles had nothing to do with Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. They were like just stupid ass memes. Like, for example, one of the funniest ones is a picture of Jesus and a sad looking boy sitting on his lap, and next to it it says, "Struggling with the addiction to masturbation? Reach out to me and we will beat it together. Jesus." And then, "You can't hold hands with God when you are masturbating. Use our hotline if you need help." It's like that kind of shit. And people were like serious, quote unquote, serious people were literally holding up these memes and being like, "Look at this. This is an attack on our nation." Like, I don't know. I just think Russiagate is a million times more dangerous than fucking Pizzagate, because people were like basically calling for like a fucking standoff with the second most like heavily armed like nuclear power on the planet. But yet, oh no, Pizzagate and QAnon, those are the dangerous disinformation things we got to focus on. And they are, but like, I don't know. I'm just saying it definitely runs both ways, and there's a lot of hypocrisy there. I guess that's all I'm really trying to say. And also that Russiagate debunking is kind of fascinating, and I've been like reading up more on it lately. And but yeah, I guess that's all I've got to say about that. I mean, it's not. I mean, conspiracy theory stuff. I'm just saying we could talk about conspiracy theory shit forever, and but we're gonna wrap up here and recommend some stuff.
Sure. My recommendation is Jujutsu Kaisen. It's a new anime. I like it a lot. It was from this previous year, this year, and last year. It's good. It's a shonen anime that breaks a lot of the shonen tropes. I dig it. I haven't watched all of it yet.
Jujutsu what?
Kaisen. I'll send you.
Okay. I might be able to Google it even with my spelling mistakes. I think I literally just typed Juice Kaisen. I'm going to recommend the Oliver Stone documentary that just came out recently, JFK Revisited, where he takes some of the new declassified documents about the JFK assassination and uses them to, basically sort of extend, his fictional film, but like in a documentary way. And I thought it was really well done and added a few things to the whole case that I didn't know yet. I still think that JFK, that Oliver Stone a little bit over idealizes JFK, but I will say that he did kind of start to change my mind on some of that too, because I know I went really hard on JFK as being nothing but a sort of con man conservative at bottom. But I don't know. I started to rethink that based on some of the stuff he portrayed in the documentary.
I mean, most of those people have some good things to them, even if a lot of it's monstrous.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I more started to really accept the idea that he was actually challenging the national security state in a way that most presidents haven't since. So it's good. It's a very well done documentary. I recommend it.
planning on watching it soon. Well, anyways, you can find us on the web at heatdeathpod.com. We are also on Twitter, and we appreciate mail, physical mail, and digital mail. We have a Patreon if you want to help us pay for the show. That's really all we're trying to do is break even. And, well, here at Heat Deathgate, we promise a freezing death for everyone.
Yeah, and I'd like to order a few frozen pizzas, if you know what I mean.
Man, I love to eat them.
Hold the pepperoni, extra cheese.
Extra cheese. I love eating frozen pizza just straight out of the freezer. You know what I mean?
I see. I'm like, do I want to imagine what this could be innuendo for or not? Just pulling kids out of a fucking ice bath. All right.
Okay.
On that
note.
On that note, exactly. All right.
Okay. Bye, man.
Bye.
Gotta go.
Pizza. Give me pizza. Did I happen to say I want pizza? Pizza. I want pizza. Hey, are you ready to play? Now set down the pizza and bring some chicken. Throw it on top and make it finger licking. Guacamole, meatball, whipped cream pouring like waterfalls. Here's a little salsa to make it hot. Here's a lot of ice cream to hit the spot. Toss the fish, let it fly. Fly, fly. Pizza pie. Pizza. Pizza. Give me pizza. Watch it rise like a souffle. Give me pizza. Pizza. I want pizza. You think we should stop? No way. Get your motors running, cause here we go. Chocolate sauce, spreading it slow. Oreo, marshmallow, caramel, coconut cream, egg foo young, chicken tongue, hold the eyeball. I'm gonna scream. Now don't forget the rice or the mashed potatoes. And what about these fried green tomatoes? Batter's up, ketchup's ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, spaghetti. Pasta, put it in the pizza. Fish sticks, put it in the pizza. Ketchup, put it in the pizza. Meatloaf, put it in the pizza. 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 Give me pizza. Add some tacos. Ole! I want pizza. Pizza. I want pizza. Call us the queens of gourmet. I want pizza. Pizza. Give me pizza. How much does it weigh? I want pizza. Pizza. I want pizza. Is it finally done? Hooray! Here it is, ready to serve. This pizza is made, yeah!
The first voice recording was made in 1860. It was a 10-second fragment of the French folk song Au clair de la lune recorded by inventor Edward Leon Scott de Martinville. But who will make the final voice recording and when? What will it be? Who will hear it?